Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to episode 7 of A Drum Corps Fan's Guide to the World. I'm your host, David Vaughn. A very pleasant good evening to you all, wherever you may be. I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. We are very excited for today's episode, very different than the ones that we've had. We have an interview today. Woohoo! It's different. It's different. Today we are joined by Misty Olmstead. She's the Executive Director of Northern Lights Drum and Bugle Corps. Misty, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come out here.
It's absolutely my pleasure, David. I was so excited to hear from you, and we've been watching this season and just super excited to have a chance to chat with you today.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the support. I'll tell you, I will be honest. I had no idea that you all were even a thing until I saw you perform the national anthem at the Midwest premiere in Rockford, Michigan. Talk to me for just a second. What was it like to get to kick off the entire DCI season? How was that for you personally and for your corps as a whole?
You know, David, not only did we get to be the first notes of the 2023 season, those were our first public notes ever. So we're a brand new corps out of Muskegon, Michigan. This is our inaugural season. And we have about 42, the group that we saw performing the national anthem. That was kind of a last minute, hey, would you like to do this? Rockford is where my kids go to school. So it was great that the band director there, Brian Phillips, reached out to us. And we got to perform, and it was incredible. It was most incredible to see just the joy of our members who have been working so hard this season, just get that applause and really start to feel like this is real. Like we created this and it's real and we're here and we're doing it. So it was just, I got goosebumps and I cried. I did the whole thing, you know, and they said my name and they said our name, and it was just like a surreal moment. So it was incredible.
Right, getting to hear your name, getting it, said over the loudspeaker, getting those applause from an actual drum corps audience on the same field that you know good and well that the Colts and the Troopers and the Blue Stars and Phantom Regiment are just about to step out on, and they're applauding for you. It really is a big thing. I remember back in, I guess it would have been 2018 or maybe 2019, I can't remember which, Zephyrus Drum and Bugle Corps. I got to witness their first performance ever at the Broken Arrow, Oklahoma show. And they performed at the end. So they performed after Blue Coats and Phantom Regiment and Blue Devils and Boston Crusaders. And so if you can imagine how terrifying and nerve-wracking that was. It was a similar situation. They were actually significantly smaller. They were, I think, 12 or 14 members at the time.
Sure.
But yeah, so I got to witness that, and I got to see you guys, and I watched the performance, and you could see it on the kids' faces as they were coming out. Have you gone back and watched the recording at all?
We have actually, yeah. We've celebrated it as a corps, and we just using it as a really just as a springboard for them. And yeah, I just remember us getting off the field, and there's just high fives and hugs and like, yeah, and like they were just feeling it. It was so great. It was so great.
No, it's such a high. It's such a high. So we talked about earlier. So you are SoundSport.
Yes.
Will you be competing this season?
So we are competing at SoundSport now. We can talk a little bit about how we started and everything, but we had originally considered going the DCA route. With Rochester being as far as it is from Michigan, we decided that Indy was a little bit closer. And when we first started and we were signing up for the SoundSport competition, it was a kind of just a group that my husband and I were trying to put together. And we thought, we're going to beg a few of our friends to come and, do music with us, and then go down to Indy and perform at SoundSport. And then we'll just go like hang out and watch finals and do drum corps. And it's going to be awesome. And we started talking to some people about it. And all of a sudden a corps showed up, and we went, okay, like, all right, it's like we're doing it. And so we are SoundSport this year. We are competing. We're not doing any other DCI events this year because we didn't know what to expect when we were starting. But we will be competing and having adjudication at SoundSport, and we're really excited about that.
Okay, so are you all age, or are you youth, or however?
We are all age. Yep, we have members ranging in age from 12 to 64.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Nice. Okay, so you'll be seeing groups like okay, so you're not going DCA this year is what you said. Okay.
no, we're not going DCA this year. After the announcement of DCA and DCI merging for next year, it's on the table to chat about what that looks like for us, but we're not quite ready to make that decision yet.
Okay, so is the plan to remain DCA type, or is the plan to bring it down to more of a youth type core?
Our plan is to stay all age
Okay.
always. Really, the basis of Northern Lights is to be as accessible as possible. We all know and love drum corps. I
Mhm.
respect the sport. I respect the organizations. It's expensive. It's time
Yes.
consuming. It's a lot. And I have two marching age kids. My husband marched DCI last summer. Um, he'd been out of the activity for about 10 years and kind of thought, our kids are coming up. I want to do it. I want to get them excited about it. I want to see if I can still do it. So we found a DCA corps down in Southern Ohio, and it was fantastic. It was an amazing experience organizationally. The logistics of getting to Ohio every weekend was a lot. And so we kind of went, what are the things that are missing here in the Midwest? And there is no all age option. Even, when Legends was here, it was still a DCI, aged core. And how can we make this as accessible as possible? So we started thinking about, ways that we could have community outreach and use our musical network to be able to find rehearsal space and find instruments and, um, you know, do community performances and all of that and really keep our dues low. And so in doing so, we've been able to make this as accessible as possible, all age. We have it very local. Our dues were $150 this year, which is, I mean, insane if you really think about it, just completely grassroots and going off of community sponsorships and donations. We do a can drive, and we've probably raised $1,000 in cans. Our local Meyer is starting to know us by name. So yeah, we want to keep that mission going strong, though. We want to stay accessible always.
Right. And to that point, um, this year, I have a daughter marching Seattle Cascades. We live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So getting from Oklahoma to Seattle is a chore in and of
Yeah.
itself. And then doing that every month for camps,
Mm-hmm.
plus the dues, which, were not cheap. And then
Sure.
it's looking like next summer, it's looking like I'm going to have three daughters marching. I'm an
So
educator.
proud, but I get it.
Right, right. I'm an educator.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
I'm looking at a second mortgage. Yeah.
right. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So I appreciate SoundSport, whether it's at the youth level, whether it's at the all age level. I appreciate what this is all about, and
Absolutely.
I dig it. I appreciate it, and like I see what you guys are doing. I love it. 42 people out there. It's great. There are open class DCI corps that are not feeling 42 people right now, and there are reasons for that, and one of those is the insane dues that is not really anybody's fault. If you want to be competitive at that level, you've
The
got to.
cost
I
of
mean,
doing business.
right?
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
Uh, we're gonna, my family and I are gonna make the trek up to Indianapolis. We're hoping to catch the Sound Sport, and so we're gonna go check that out. We're gonna watch it. We were able to catch it last year, and it was amazing. Um, when How has your rehearsal time been up to this point?
So that was another thing that was difficult, and we recognize for like the DCA that we're a weekend corps. And what we've done for our members this year is we had winter camps starting last November. We did one every 3 months. So we did one in November, one in January, again in April, and then we started summers in May. And it was great. People were able to come, attendance was good, morale was high. And then what we moved into is an every other Saturday model. And so we'll keep that. Next year, we're going to start a little bit earlier because we are noticing like we would like some more time. We're getting close to it. I think we've got another, I think we're down to like 18 rehearsal hours left until it's performance time. But
That's
it's
not
been,
terrifying at all, is it?
it's not keeping me up at night, but give me a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll probably get there. Um, but what's really great about it is because we're spaced out as much as we are, the kids are engaged. And I say kids loosely. I mean, like I said, we've got members up to the age of 64, but our members are engaged. Our members are excited. They're invested. We've got people sending in practice videos in their off time. We've got people asking for hey, can we get together as a group and come over to your house? We've got some property. Can we practice drill in the yard? How can we be doing this more? And when they're at rehearsal, they're locked in. They're locked in. We're learning drill. They're practicing their music on their own time. We have kind of a community band outlook where we're going to get you the music as early as possible. Practice that on your own time. Come to rehearsal ready to rehearse, not to learn it. Come ready to rehearse. And they're doing it. We've got these high school age kids who, when I was in high school, I didn't want to practice. I played clarinet. I wanted to go out and hang out and be with my friends, and but they're doing it and they're showing up ready to go. And it's super inspiring to me to see these kids. And it speaks to what a gap there was in this area for this activity, for this age group, for this demographic. So it's really inspiring.
No, it really is, and it speaks a lot. And the fact that not only do you have, the kids, the 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids,
Yeah.
but, the next generation kids, the 45, 50-year-olds, the ones that are my age that, are doing the same thing. It speaks to the fact that, first of all, the power of the music and how it speaks to us. Secondly, this activity never gets old.
Never.
You do see the debates between the dinosaurs and the new kids about, it's not drum corps, and so you see this and you get this mix of the two and be like, look, it is still drum corps, we are still doing it, it is a thing, and guess what, we're doing it together and we're having a lot of fun doing it. And you gotta love to see it. You gotta love to see it. Have you guys been affected in your rehearsals by the wildfires and the smoke?
Yes. Luckily, we have a local partner, the Muskegon Community College in Muskegon, is partnering with us for rehearsal space. So we've been really fortunate in that they have a large outdoor rehearsal space that we can use. And then we have that use of the indoor facility as well. So we're able to utilize that. But the air quality was quite poor for a while. We were masking when we were outside, and then we would go inside when we could. And just being really sensitive and making sure that those of our members who needed to self-advocate and take a break were able to do that, freely. But yeah, it's been a little bit crazy here. Luckily, it's clearing up now, and I want to knock on wood. I'll knock on wood, but we've only had rain on one rehearsal day, and that was last Saturday, and it was only for a couple of hours. So luckily, the weather's cooperated as well. It's been beautiful.
Nice. Well, here's hoping the weather holds up for you guys. Are Do you have any goals moving forward? And when I say moving forward, not for this season, but
Sure.
moving forward into next year and the year after. Like, where do you hope to see Northern Lights 3 years from now? What do you expect to see?
So, I mean, what's incredible is that even just having 42 members out the gate was way further than I thought that we would be. Obviously, growth in membership would be a high priority for us, just so that we can be touching as many members as possible and getting them that experience that I know that we can. In 3 years, I mean, I'd really love to see us fielding a core of 60 to 80. And, if there is that partnership between DCI and DCA happening, I'd like to see a little bit more about what that's going to look like, what kind of requirements for cores it's going to be. Is it going to be attainable for us to be able to do that and keep our membership dues as low as we can to make it as accessible as possible? But I would love it if we could be fielding a 9-minute show on a full football field. Like, that would just be incredible for us to see. But ultimately, the goal is to just provide the best member experience that we can for the people who want to spend the summer with us. That's the ultimate goal. If we get down to Indy and we perform in whatever aspect that looks like, and our members come home and they're excited about it and they want to come back next year, done, easy.
Nice, and that's fantastic. So if someone says, you know what, I'm interested in Northern Lights Drum Bugle Corps, how can they get more information about you guys?
Easy. You can go to our website, and that's northernlightsmi.org. On that website, our 2024 interest form is already live, so we've gotten some attention on there, especially after the anthem performance. And so they can go there, they can fill out the interest form. We're just going to kind of collect some interest on there, and then probably around September start reaching out and making plans for camp in November. And then obviously just come and check us out. We've got our camps are open, so if you're ever in the Muskegon, Michigan area, feel free to pop over for our camps. Our next one's on the 22nd. That's actually our last rehearsal. And then we have our friends and family concert. We're calling it our send-off concert, and that's going to be at Newaygo High School on August 5th at 5 p.m. And we're going to perform our show for the very first time and kind of get some well wishes from our community and send us off to Indy for SoundSport on finals weekend. So
excellent. And I will make sure in the description for the video to include that website, the link for that website, so then people can more readily find it, so that they don't have to remember it. When you were playing this, you kind of said that the recruiting kind of took care of itself. You said like it was just going to be kind of a few people, and then people showed up.
yeah.
What are you guys doing, or are you doing anything as far as like fundraising to kind of help offset some of the fees? Because as we talked about, the dues for some of these other corps are a lot higher. What are you all doing to kind of help offset that, other than a smaller tour schedule for this season?
I mean, yeah, a smaller tour schedule for this was really the logistics costs are really what get you. But because of the community buy-in, we had our rehearsal space donated to us. We got instruments donated to us. We've had our uniforms we've done very minimalistic, and we're creating things. We're building our own, props and just doing everything as holistically as possible. And then just talking to people in the community. We've had a tremendous fundraising effort just happening in a very grassroots way, getting the word out and sending out, Facebook messages, not Facebook messages, but like posting on Facebook saying like, hey, we're raising money for a drum line. Hey, we're selling merchandise. Hey, we're going to have a trivia night that we're going to host. And people are just, they're reacting, and it's incredible to see friends and family members, friends and family. As I mentioned, we've got our can drive that we do, and we actually have turned it into a little bit of like a section competition. So that's really got the members fired up because, of course, best section win. We've raised probably almost $1,000 in cans already, and I've got another probably 15 bags sitting in my garage right now. I just got to get them back to the store. So, and that may be a completely unique Michigan thing. So for anybody who's not from the area, we get 10 cents a can. So it's a lot of cans.
Well, I do know Seattle Cascades are doing something very similar. So if it's not a uniquely Michigan thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we were supposed to actually do this interview yesterday, and it didn't happen because you guys got some really, really good news, and we had to bump this interview 24 hours. Would you mind sharing with the populace what happened?
I would love to. Really just speaking on that community buy-in, Tom Farr, who is the owner of Buzzard Bay, they have actually manufactured our core jackets for us and done an amazing job. They were part of the Belvederes out of Pennsylvania. And unfortunately, the Belvederes have decided that they are going to be folding operations. And they had this beautiful drum line. And they were hoping that they might be able to find a home for it. Tom had been working with us, and we connected with him, and they said, hey, you're a startup core. We just want to give it to you. And I had to pinch myself. My husband was telling me about it, and I'm like, this is fake. It's not, and it wasn't. It's just this tremendously gracious, generous gift that's being provided to us. It's a full drum line. We are purchasing their trailer from them, but at an incredibly discounted price to be able to haul the drum line. So yesterday we were just getting some of the details of that figured out there, but it's just completely surreal. As I mentioned before, recognizing the gap in our area was one thing, but just getting the love and support from other core directors and other core members, and they're starting to see our mission, and they're starting to support that mission, and it's just heartwarming and inspiring. So it's just I'm still a little bit shell shocked over it, just so excited. But so we'll be connecting with them and getting that drum line, and we'll be able to premiere those in 2024. So thank you so much to the Belvederes for your tremendous gift. If anybody's watching.
Oh, I would imagine that's pretty amazing. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
As a director of bands myself, I know how expensive that stuff can be. And I'm a percussionist, so I doubly know how much that stuff
Double
can.
no. Yeah.
Just for my own curiosity, do you know what kind of drums they are? Are they
They're Yamaha. So it's going to be, I don't know model. I apologize. My
No,
husband
that's
handles
fine.
that part, but they are Yamahas. It's 4 snares, 5 bass drums, 2 quints, carriers, cases, stands for all of them.
Nice.
And then 4 marching timpanis, which we were like giggling a little bit about. My brother's husband is super excited to be able to march a timpani next year, and you'll see him. We've already got it written. And cymbals, 2 sets of cymbals.
So are you guys gonna march timpani? Yes. Oh my gosh.
2024. We're super excited. So I'm not going to give anything else away, but
I will not. I will not. Well, I mean, it's on YouTube now, but if I that is amazing. That's going to be worth the price of admission alone. That is
100%.
fantastic. I love that. I love that so much. Wow. Okay. Wow. That would blindsided me. That's amazing. I
I
love
love it.
it so much. All right, man. Um, do you have any closing remarks that you wanna just kind of throw out there?
I mean, I'm really grateful. Just, it completely floors me even to this day, even after all of the community support that we've gotten and the comments and the well wishes and just the love that we felt from everyone that we talked to. When I get home after a really incredible night of performed at the national anthem, and then we got to watch drum corps premiere, and it's just like so high adrenaline. And then you log in and you see an email being like, "Hey, let's talk about this," and it's enthralling. Like, it's just so exciting. So I appreciate you reaching out to us. I will take any opportunity to talk about this corps. I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of our members. They've been putting in the work this summer. I don't mean to brag, but I do mean to brag. It is a really it's a good brass book. It's a high intensity show that we're putting together, and I was a little nervous about it in the beginning, and I thought, like, are we really going to be able to do this? We've had 10 rehearsal days for our whole season, so and they rose to that challenge. I'm so excited for people to hear what we can do and to see our corps and just to let them shine. They're going to be incredible.
Well, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see you guys in Indianapolis. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll make sure I come up and introduce myself officially. So that would be awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Misty Olmstead, Executive Director for Northern Lights Drum and Bugle Corps. Thank you so much again for joining us. Man, it's been great to have you on. Until next time, y'all. My name is David Vaughn. I've been your host for the evening. Just a reminder: no amount of success can compensate for failure in the home. Make sure that you let your family know each and every day just how much you love them. And until next time, remember, this is a drum corps fan's guide to the world. We're just living in it. Until next time, take care. God bless.